Hi, this is Mr. Rego, and we're finding the composition of functions. This applies for Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc as well. Okay, the notation for composition of functions is f of g of x. Okay, if I have two functions that are f of x and g of x, these letters, the f and g, doesn't matter. The whole idea is you're combining two functions into one. Okay? So in my case, we can do f of g of x, we can do g of f of x, we can do f of x, we can do g of x. Okay? So the order of the letters doesn't matter, it's just notation wise. Okay? And when you read, like the last one is g of x. So basically it's g of that parenthesis, g of x. Alright, so every parenthesis you kind of call it off, g of x. Okay, that's just to show you how to read those basically. For now, we're probably gonna do f of g of x, which is the first one. We're probably gonna do this one, and we're probably gonna do the second one. It doesn't matter which ones we do. The process is the same for all of them. Okay, I just need space right now. Alright, so let's do the first one. We do f of g of x. The process is the following. Okay, I am gonna do f of g of x. My first step is to replace the inside function. Okay, so I'm going to have f of, instead of g of x, I write my g of x function, which is 2x minus 3. So I'm replacing the inside function, the g of x. Instead of g of x, I write 2x minus 3 inside. Okay, once I have that, I write my f function, and whatever I have in x, I put a parenthesis. So my f function is 3x squared. My f function is the one that is on the outside, so I'm going to write my f function, which is 3x squared. So my function is 3x squared. You see that? Instead of the x, I put a parenthesis. What goes inside the parenthesis? My previous parenthesis. So whatever I had in the previous parenthesis is going to go down. 2x minus 3. Okay? And then I just algebra. That's what I'm doing right now. I see that I have an exponent right now. I have it to the second. That square is affecting the parentheses only. Okay? So let's work on that parenthesis only. I have 2x minus 3 to a second power. That's the same as having 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. You do FOIL for that. Alright, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3, negative 6x. Now I do negative 3. Negative 3 times 2x, negative 6x. Negative 3 minus times negative 3 is positive 9, which is going to give you, and let me move this up, which is going to give you 4x squared. You combine like terms, those two, that's going to give you a negative 12x plus 9. So my inside is that. Okay, the 2x minus 3 to the second power is going to give you this, 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. So I'm going to replace it right in there. The 3 is on the outside, and I'm going to replace 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. That's supposed to be a 9. Plus 9. That 3 was on the outside, and that 3 wasn't affected by that exponent. That's why I didn't affect it. Now I'm going to distribute on every single one of them. So it's going to be 3 times 4 is going to give you 12x squared. 3 times negative 12x is negative 36x. And 3x times 9 is going to give you 27. So that's going to be your f of g of x, which we had. That's where we started. Okay. Now, if I ask you, what's your domain for this function? Again, there's nothing dividing here. There's nothing dividing there. Therefore, when you're doing domain, you always start with the set of real numbers. If there's something dividing, then that will be your exception. In my case, there's no dividing, or there's no radicals. Therefore, the domain is the set of all real numbers. Okay? And that's composition of functions. Let's do one more. Now, we just did f of g of x in the previous problem. Now what I want to do is I want to do g of f of x. Basically the process is the same, it's just the order of the functions. So let's do g of f of x. Again, the process, the steps, we change the inside function first. Inside function, the f of x equals 3x squared, so I'm going to keep the g on the outside and I'll replace the f of x 4 by 3x squared. I'm replacing the inside function. Then my outside function is the g function. Okay, and I know that g function is 2x minus 3. So I'm going to write my g function, and whatever I have in x, I put a parenthesis. So my g function is 2x minus 3. Look, 2x minus 3. Instead of parentheses, I bring whatever I have on the previous parentheses. Whatever was on the previous parentheses, that's coming down on the new parentheses. And from there is algebra. There's no exponents on the outside, so that's not going to affect anything. So technically you have 2 times 3x squared, which is 6x squared minus 3. Can you combine those? No, you can't. So that's your g of f of x. G of f of x. Okay? And that'll be your answer. Now, domain. Is there anything dividing? No. Therefore, domain, the set of all real numbers. Alright, so that's steps, though. That's the process to do any composition of functions. Alright, you replace the inside function first. Which is the 3x squared. And then you write your outside function. And whatever you have an x, my g function is 2x minus 3. Whatever you have an x, 2x minus 3, you put a parenthesis. And you bring the previous parenthesis down and you do algebra after that. Okay? So that's composition of functions. Study please. Have a good one.